Hey everyone, this is P4L. Thanks for joining. Looks like we have a couple people on already. Hey, Slow DK. So we're gonna get started. This is Iron Factory's EX-45. Their Yoroi Shishimaru. So I only know a little bit of Japanese, basically just from what I caught from watching anime and reading manga. So I don't know what Yoroi means, but Shishi I believe is a lion, and Maru I think is just a term that they use for like a little one or a little kid kind of thing. They do it with Konoha Maru in Naruto, so something like that. But yeah, it has to do with a lion. So this is I guess they're first in the Iron Samurai series, which is a new one to me. This box is really kind of nice, and you can see the kind of design it has here. It shows kind of the lion head that comes with this figure, and this is Iron Factory 2020. Probably some Japanese here. On the back is where we get some more of the traditional Iron Factory product images, which look very nice. But the box itself is pretty cool. I kind of wish there was a window or a flap that you could see inside. I think it'd make it for a much cooler display piece. But let's push that off to the side, because magically I have it out of packaging right here. He does come with a set of instructions. I found that the instructions are way more complicated than they make it, than they need to make it for some reason. Hey Grimlock, how's it going? Yeah, Lio Convoy and Bludgeon. Yeah, the Bludgeon looks really cool. I guess the Bludgeon is a kind of a heavy retool of this. But yeah, that looks pretty cool as well. But yeah, like I said, the instructions make some parts of it way more complicated than it needs to be. And some parts of it, I don't know how they do it. It bends in ways that I don't think this figure is supposed to bend. So, out of packaging, he comes in a standard clamshell. He comes in robot mode. And if you don't know, this is supposed to be Beast Wars Lio Convoy. I never watched Beast Wars 2. Oh man, this is going to be... Here, let me scooch this down a bit so we can get a little bit closer, and so you guys can see a little bit better. But this is from like the Japanese Beast Wars series, which I never watched. I don't even own the Masterpiece figure of this. I was thinking about getting the Masterpiece Lio Convoy, but then decided it was too much for a figure that I had no attachment to. So maybe somewhere down the line I'll get it. But he comes with 3 sets of alternate hands, in addition to the ball-fisted hands he comes standard with. And then he comes with a katana and sheath here. And this looks really nice. The scabbard or katana sheath, I guess, is nicely detailed, molded. The sword itself looks very nice, has a nice curvature to it, and a little design here. I forget what those things are called on the blade itself, and even the details on the handle. So it looks really quite nice. It has a little peg, and his side skirts have 2 pegs, one on each side. I would put it this way, I guess, but I guess you can put it the other way as well. Guessing, depending on how handed your figure is, left-handed or right-handed. So as I said, speaking of hands, he does have ball-fisted hands, which are probably the most boring of the hands. He also comes with spread hands. He comes with a angled grip for the sword, and then like a standard up and down grip. So I really like the angled grip. I think that's a little bit more, I guess, traditional in the way you should hold a sword, kind of out forward, as opposed to just straight up and down, which is what we usually get with most figures, which just looks kind of silly. And it's kind of so he just kind of holds it straight. I think this looks kind of dumb. So I really like the angled hands. I'm actually going to make him right-handed. And the way it works is very simple. It's a little ball joint that comes on here. So you just pull off with a little bit of force, and then peg this in. Give it a push. Hopefully you have better luck or strength than I do. And there we go. So I think that looks really nice. And if you get 2 of like the open-handed ones, you can do, a double grip. So we'll put these hands off to the side. We don't really worry about them right now. And any of the hands should work as far as robot mode, in transformation, except maybe this one, just because the fingers stick out a bit. But doing a quick 360 of the figure itself, he does look really nice. And I think the robot mode is definitely the winner of this figure. When you have the different modes, you usually have one that's a favorite. This one I think is a heavy favorite for the robot mode, and I'll show you why once we get into transformation. This scabbard is a little bit thicker than I would like. It basically makes it so you can't put your hand down on this side, which is kind of a bummer. But in terms of articulation, he has a wide range, which is why I think this figure is really nice for robot mode. His head's on a little ball joint. You can see his alternate colored, like, what are these, kind of like crest pieces, which is the same design that Lio Convoy had. So a little bit different than a traditional Optimus. His shoulder pieces are actually attached on the backpack. So there's a little backpack back here, which is on the ball joint, and a series of other hinges, another ball joint, a swivel here, and so forth, which can help you get this position in various ways. But the shoulder joint here is on a ball joint. It also has a bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, which give you really great range. You can see how the claws just fold up on the back. And that ball joint that we used is how you get kind of the wrist articulation. It's kind of weird that it's so far up, but at least you have it. Coming to the chest itself, he does have, or upper body, he does have a ball jointed waist, so he does have a bit of an ab crunch as well as a 360 swivel. His hip skirts are on also a weird mechanism, so it's actually attached kind of in like a U-shaped piece that rocks forward and back. You can use it for just positioning, but it's really meant for transformation. He has ball jointed hip skirts, which can go around. Nicely gold detail. I will say that mine, at least, I don't know how this happened, but the gold paint already chipped on this side. I don't know if it was from transformation or not. So careful on the shiny bits so you don't make yours look a little defective like mine. He does have ball jointed waist. He does have really thick thighs, front thighs though, which can kind of get in the way. You can move them just a bit because he does have these kind of joints here. You can go out to the side. Double jointed knees, which get him all the way back, and the knee joint can actually move forward as well, which is weird. His foot is on the ball joint, so you get a lot of ankle pivot, and his toe can move up as well as down, and he has a little piece of heel, which really is meant for transformation, but you can make use of it for articulation as well. So yeah, a lot of really nice articulation points for this guy. You can definitely get him in wider stances. You can get him pointed up on some toes. This shoulder piece here, I didn't really talk about it, but it's basically just mounted on a swivel and a ball peg on the head. So you can get a lot of movement out of that to get it out of your way. But yeah, he can strike quite a pose. I'm not the best at posing. We really need T-Man in here to show me how to pose stuff. But like I said, between the ab crunch and all the ankle articulation and double jointed elbows and knees, he does have a lot going on. Oh, and the one last piece here, you can swivel the tail around on a ball joint in here if you'd like. So let's do some comparisons with some other legend scale figures. Let's see who I have. So here he is with Iron Factory Coulter. So you can see just how tall he is. He is a little bit smaller than Coulter. Not Coulter, Tarn. I'm using the MMC name for him. No, so Tarn, he's a little bit smaller than Tarn. Here he is with Magic Square's Optimus, who much smaller, but Magic Squares tend to be a bit on the larger side as far as legends go. And here are some samples I got from Toy Dojo. I think these are New Age. I think these are all New Age. This guy here, Red Alert. And what's his name? Why can't I think of his name right now? You know, the hovercraft guy. I'm blanking. Somebody help me out in the chat. Yeah, I don't know. All right. So let's get it sorted out of the way and we can go on with transformation. So transformation, like I said, is pretty simple on this guy. I don't know why they're trying to make it so complicated. Oh, Sea Spray. Thanks, Grimlock. I don't know why I was struggling. Thanks, Low DK. So transformation on this guy is pretty simple. I've already done the official transformation manual for that, so I guess this is a good time for me to always highlight that I do the official transformation manuals for Iron Factory. So they sent me this as a, I guess, quote-unquote payment for doing that manual. But Yeah, quick disclaimer. So let's go ahead and rotate at the thighs 180 degrees. The foot is going to rotate 180 degrees at the ankle. And then it has this weird ankle joint here, which I didn't really talk about because it's not really for robot mode. But yeah, you can rock this up, point the toes down, and then you bend at any of these knee joints the opposite, the way like this. So you kind of make it the rear hind legs. Same thing on this side. So we're going to go ahead and rock this up, pull the heel spur down, toes down like that, and then bend at the knee. So I don't think they showed this in the instruction manual, but you can also, like I said, make use of these pieces and scooch this down to kind of cover up the gap. I don't think they showed that in the manual, and so I didn't show it in the official manual, but I think this is what the intention was, to kind of have this come down and cover up the gray pieces. All right, coming to the waist, we're going to pull back on that U-shaped piece that holds the hip skirts and just fan them out like this. Now we're going to come to the chest. They talk about this part here. They say you should scooch the chest piece up and then move these shoulders down, but you don't really need to do that. And then they just keep this out here, and I'll show this off, but I really don't think that is a good way to go, and it looks just really weird. So bring the arms down, rotate the wrists, and then bring down the claws like so. You can rotate the head of robot mode all the way around. Be careful, the chin does cause some interference, so you do want to kind of rock the head back to get that clearance. Now we'll go ahead and deal with the these pieces. We're just going to cover up the shoulders here at an angle. That you basically just do whatever you want with these. All right, like that. And now we're going to deal with the two backpack pieces that will make up the tail and back and the head. So this piece, you want to rock around this way. You'll see that it comes around and back. So maybe this is where I ran into it. So make sure there's some clearance here. And then you want to fold this around on itself to kind of cover up that ball joint, which will end up being kind of the spine. Back here, you want to pull down this I-beam piece or T-beam piece, and between the thighs you'll see two tabs, and you're supposed to tab these legs around that I-piece. So, like I said, these pieces rock down. You can do that or not, but it seems like maybe you're supposed to keep it up, just because when you tab the tail in and spine in, it makes it a lot easier to do so, but then you get these pieces uncovered. So I'm not really sure, like I said, but the reason why I like to pull these down is because I don't actually tab this piece in, because once you tab these legs in, you're basically restricted to having his legs very tight along the back. You get no articulation splitting the leg. The only way you get that is really splitting the legs or using this little kind of knee piece down here. So that's why I don't actually like that. I like splitting them apart, bringing these down, and then just keeping this piece kind of floating in the middle. But really, it's up to you. Like I said, I guess for official transformation, we'll go ahead and just rock these up for now. So yeah, then same thing with the other side. With the head, you're going to rotate this around, and you'll see them kind of interlock together, or at least form a kind of a solid piece there. They don't tab or anything, but they're clearly meant to be like that. And then you fold back the mane on each side of the helmet. Oops, sorry. And then the top of the helmet has a double hinged piece that comes back and covers up the gap on the back. And that's really it. That's the transformation. Pretty basic. And like I said, the official manual says to pull this chest piece out and just kind of have it hanging there, but I don't know why you would want to do that. Like, then you just have a big gap here. It really serves no purpose in doing that. So I keep mine folded up like so. But this is how he looks in his beast mode, doing a quick 360. See what I mean? It looks like his legs are just fused together like that, I just think it looks goofy. And again, for a figure that has so much posability, it's kind of silly to restrict that. So again, I'll split it and at least have one split off, and that way you can have a little bit more posability, some dynamic range, and you can get some curvature out of the body and so forth. As far as articulation, he has the same articulation that we saw before with the addition of this piece here, which we didn't talk about. As far as the hind legs, lions that use the robot legs as, or any animal for quadruped animals that use the robot legs reversed and just bent down, look really goofy. There's no way around that, I guess, unless you do some heavy engineering. But for a Legends class, I think this looks fine. We talked about the tail. It's on a ball joint so it can rock down or flip around. Happy. Sad, I guess. I don't know. On the front, his mouth does open, and even his little beard of the main part will articulate separately. Rah, 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 rah. It looks pretty cute. He has pink eyes, which is interesting, I suppose. And the cool detail is that if you look carefully, or not even that carefully, you can see that there's a matrix here, and this whole shape is kind of matrix-like. So I like that little design detail. The helmet, which is very samurai-ish, with these like semicircle pieces, looks really cool. But the head can also rock around on that ball joint in the middle, and then it has a hinge up here that will give you a little bit more range. So you can look up and look down, look right, look left with a decent amount of range. But yeah, all the other articulation is exactly the same. Please try fitting the sword into his jaw. Yes, he can do that. He can definitely do that. So I was going to show that off. He already cut to the chase there, but he can hold it. I mean, it's not the tightest of joints here. It's just a loose friction joint, but he can hold it, and it does look quite nice. Otherwise, you can put it in the scabbard and make use of the same little holes here and have it peg onto his body, which looks kind of weird, but whatever. I mean, he could have that and unsheath it, and that looks pretty cool. I think that'd be a little cool display for him. Yeah, all the alternate hands, really, like I said, they can make you can make use of them here, but this is the same thing. You have like this little ankle tilt here. I guess this one doesn't work that well either. Now that I notice it, the fingers stick out on this one a bit. So let's just go back to his balled up hand. There we go. But yeah, a cool little figure here. Let's get him with the only Legends scale figure I have right now is New Age Bumblebee, I think. I think it's New Age. You can see just how Bumblebee can go right under his body, slide right through, like he's a bridge or something. Anything else I have? No, I don't really have. Oh, yeah, I do. Here is a Legends Warpath. Yeah, that's about it. But yeah, a fun little figure. I think this mode, like I said, is definitely the weakest just because of the way they want you to peg everything in. But overall, it's still quite fun looking. And like you guys said, he looks like a good little kitty. Except for the fact that he can hold a sword and probably kill you. One little detail I didn't talk about with the sword is that it does have a little notch here. So when you slide it in, it's very loose, but then it clicks into place. Or at least frictions into place, so it doesn't just slide out. All right, so let's go ahead and get back into robot mode, and we'll talk about questions, any other comparisons that you might want to see, and then finish off the review. So let's start with the head. We'll rock this piece back up on top of the head itself. We'll bring this around, like so, and we'll just hold that out of the way for now. For the tail, split the legs if you've tabbed them in. Fold up that piece. Swing this around, like so, and then you want to fold this out like that to come up around the shoulder. The shoulders you'll rock up, and then flip around the forearms, or at least the wrists, and then fold in the claws. the head will rotate around like so, and then we'll deal with the legs. So we'll just straighten out the legs for now, including this little ankle part. Fold that down, rotate it around, fold down the toe, fold out the heel, and then rotate at the thigh. So again, I don't know why this articulation would exist otherwise. I guess it gives you a little bit more range there, but maybe it's used for the bludgeon. All right, same thing on the other leg. Straighten out the ankle, rotate it around, fold down the toe, fold up the heel, and then rotate at the thigh to get him back in robot mode. Last but not least, fold this hip skirt armature down and get the hip skirts positioned as you see fit, and then bring everything down. They do show this piece kind of folded up. I don't know why they would. I kind of think it looks cooler like that, but I guess it does limit articulation a bit. But yeah, that's really it for the review. Pretty simple Legends class figure. Again, I think the robot mode is really nice, and I think the alt mode is pretty weak. But overall, it depends on your love of this figure, Beast Wars 2 and a Lio Convoy, a little Lion-y Optimus Prime. So depending on what your preference is, he may be a good addition to your collection. I didn't really realize that there was a bludgeon until somebody mentioned it in my last live stream, but that looks really cool. It has a couple of alternate modes, and yeah, the skull tank just looks really fierce. So let's look back. All right. Slow DK says, good idea about Zoids, Grim. Oh, what did Grim say about Zoids? Oh, okay. So he pre-ordered this guy because he's a Zoids fan. It does look kind of Zoidish. I mean, Zoids have been out of my vocabulary for such a long time. I know that they still make a lot of Zoid what is it? Those model kits for the Lagers and stuff like that. And apparently those are still really cool. Grimlock says, there aren't a heck of a lot of Legends Beast Formers besides Iron Factory's Heat Death and Ravage and Transform Elements Beast Wars line. Oh, so I don't have any of those. Like Heat Death, I sold to a local, and Ravage, Iron Factory's Ravage? I don't even remember Iron Factory's Ravage. And then the Transform Elements line, I haven't collected their line. I do like Transform Element. So I've been interested in that line, but overall, the Legend scale is not where I want to be. I think I've mentioned that a couple times. What other Iron Factory comparisons do I have? So I only have basically DJD. Give me 1 second, I can go bring... Can the tail tuck away any better? No, not really. The tail, basically, you can kind of fold up like this if you want, and kind of hide it like that, but it's really going to cause interference. Other than wrapping it around like this, you can't really do much. Yeah, it doesn't fold in all the way, unfortunately. You can just kind of hide it like that if that's what you'd like to do. So I don't have a lot of Iron Factory figures for the same reason. The only ones I have are the DJD and the Combaticons. So give me a second, I'll bring those out real quick. Go ahead and ask questions while I'm gone. All right, so here are the DJD. All my Iron Factory and Legends class figures, the few that I have, are out in my hallway, and it's pitch black in there, so I just could grab whatever I could by feel. And then I'll go ahead and try to see if I can find some of the others real quick. All right, yeah, so the only other ones I have besides the DJD are the Combaticons, and as you can see, I only have them in combined mode because that's why I kept them, because these guys look awesome in combined mode. I think I do have a Megatron somewhere. Oh, I do have... Oh, I just got this figure and I haven't opened them up yet, but yeah, you can get a comparison next to the box of New Age Megatron. Boruticus, yes. Yeah, he's pretty small. I think he's pretty He's pretty small for their scale, and I don't really know again how the Beast Wars scale is. Beast Wars 2. If it's anything like the Beast Wars 1 American one, I mean, this is actually probably too big for that, since Optimus they were like the size of Optimus's head or something like that for Beast Wars. So yeah, you're not gonna get a good scale, one-to-one scale here with the Beast Wars and G1 line. What other figures I do? I do have some other New Age figures. Or I think this is Magic Square. They're Ultra Magnus. My battle damaged one. These are all not even mine. These are all just samples that Toy Dojo had at a show or something like that, and they let me take them, and I've just held on to them because they've never asked for them back. Let's see who else I can squeeze in here just for fun. We can get Huffer. So DK says, I guess they'll have to make more from the series, or it doesn't make much sense. I don't know. I feel like with a lot of third-party companies, they will make a figure if they think it's cool, and then they'll try to remold it as much as possible. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is like the only one they do, but let's hope not. But again, I don't even know what other, Beast Wars 2 figures that they want. Oh, hey, T-Man, how's it going? I was talking about you earlier, saying that I'm not good at posing. Yeah, this Beachcomber is really cool. I think the design is really nice. The transformation's basic and simple. It could scale up to a deluxe, no problem. So, we'll see what Fans Toys is like. This is actually not mine, T-Man. I was saying that these are all samples that Toy Dojo had at some show, and they let me take them back, and they haven't asked for them, so I haven't volunteered to send them back. Oh no! No! Come back. K-On, no. Oh, I'm missing a couple. Yeah, they don't care. Toy does care. They usually forget. I need that little side swipe. I have a side swipe. Where is he? Here is the side swipe. So again, he's pretty tall for a Legends. Pretty small for a Legends figure. The Lao Convoy is. IDW, Cyclonus, and Star Saber would be the most appropriate and excellent continuation of the... Yeah, you know what? I'm down for that. The IDW Cyclonus, that'd be really cool. I always like that design that they have with More Than Meets the Eye, the more samurai look. Star Saber, I guess that makes sense. I'm really looking forward to the Iron Trans Star Saber. So it was a figure that I wasn't going to collect, but now it's really high on my list after a couple people saying it's really good, including TM Reviews. Hey, Tabby, how's it going? Sideswipe is too big. Yeah, he probably is. I mean, he's new. Yeah, he's New Age. So, I mean, I guess with their scale, it's actually even then, because I think he's New Age too. But again, I don't really know. Yeah, even compared to Magic Square. Oh, I do have Red Alert too, but obviously he's the same mold. I wonder if there's something wrong with the transformation that I have. Oh, I think it's because of this part. I didn't transform this part correctly. So he's standing a little bit higher than he should be. Come on, fold that in. But yeah, this is why I can't get into Legend scale, just because they look so fun and to play with. Their desk figures, and my desk is already a mess. I need to tell Toy Dojo that he needs to sell these. Sideswipe is Magic Square. Oh, okay, these are Magic Square. Yeah, see, I don't know. Oh, I guess I could tell just by the plastic. This definitely feels like the same plastic as this one. But then I don't know about these. These also seem to be the same as Magic Square. I feel like these are Magic Square. But anyway, it doesn't look like you guys have any other questions. Hopefully you enjoyed the review. A very simple one. Like I said, I think he's a cool little figure in robot mode. Lots of posability for such a small figure. I don't know if I would collect him. And I think, but for the price, I think he's probably in line with other Legends class figures, especially from Iron Factory. The overall quality and the paintwork and details of this kind of cool line, the new Iron Samurai line, probably do justify the price that he has. But yeah, I'll let everybody know. You know what I'll do one day, and I've been thinking about doing this in the past, is just doing like a sale live stream of just doing a live stream saying, all right, the starting bid for this is $10. Who wants it? And not even a bid, just saying, I'm going to put this up for sale for $10. Whoever says me can claim it or something like that. So I'll have to do that with Toy Dojo stuff, all their free stuff that they always leave here. So in any case, I really appreciate you guys joining. I will be doing a live stream tomorrow, which will be Redux. So I mentioned this last week. I've been saying I just got another copy of Coot. And what I'll be doing is basically I'll be going ahead and reopening this figure and doing a blank slate review without having looked at my old review and without looking at instructions and seeing how I feel about him again. So that'll be interesting. If you've already seen my other review, you probably don't need to watch this one for any kind of transformation. This is really just going to be a second look at a figure that a lot of people may really love, and a lot of people like me hated the first time around. But we'll see how that review goes. It will be an interesting, a new type of review that I'm doing. In any case, thanks a lot, everyone. Hope you have a good one.